Thompson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Pritchard. And thank the member for Sheffield Hallam for bringing this debate today and certainly raising the opportunity for members to discuss this critical but often overlooked element of the fight against climate change and our efforts to rebalance land use. A key issue I'd like to highlight in this debate is the effect of muirburn on peatlands and peat bogs, which are critical for preserving biodiversity, minimising flood risk and fighting climate change. Peat acts as a carbon store, storing more carbon than all other vegetation types in the world combined. As a result, 6% of man-made CO2 emissions come from damage done to peatlands. In Scotland's case, peatland covers more than a fifth of the entire country and stores around 1.5 billion tonnes of carbon, so it's critical for the environment that steps are taken to protect it from deterioration. I'm pleased to say the Scottish Government has acknowledged this in the important part peat plays and the ambition to become a carbon-neutral country. And it's put 25,000 acres on the road to recovery, with a pledge of 250 million for peatland restoration over the next decade. Unfortunately, irresponsible muirburn and grouse shooting estates can pose a major threat to the stability of peatlands, with research by the University of Leeds finding that burning grouse moors degrades peatland habitat, releases climate-altering gases, reduces biodiversity and increases flood risk. Briefly.
Is he aware that in 2019 the wildfire of Scotland's Flow Country, which was on overgrown moorland, actually resulted in 22 square miles of UNESCO World Heritage Site being damaged and 700,000 tonnes of CO2 being released, which doubled Scotland's CO2 production for 6 days?
I'm not saying that there's no need for land management. I'm saying we need to tackle the irresponsible land management to make sure that that sort of thing isn't happening. Muirburn also poses particular risk in allowing fire to spread to highly flammable underground peat, which causes this carbon to release, as the Honourable Gentleman has ably helped me to highlight. Anyone who's couried in beside a fireplace knows how flammable peat is. It's been over a year now since the Government stated that it intends to phase out the burning of protected blanket bog, a promise repeated by ministers over the past 12 months. We're yet to see the legislative progress in this, so I would welcome assurances from the Government that this continues to be treated as a priority. I would also urge the Government to follow Scottish Government's lead and match spending commitments in the restoration of peatlands and peat bogs. Furthermore, Scotland has banned muirburn and peatlands during the pandemic, and with the second lockdown taking place, I would perhaps suggest that that might be something that could be considered for the rest of the UK. However, perhaps it is time to consider broader issues around land use in general. By some estates, between 12 and 18% of Scotland's land is used for grouse shooting, making it extremely hard to ensure that muirburn is being carried out responsibly and not damaging the peatlands. We hear from some quarters that such risks to the environment are far outweighed by economic benefits, and industry figures show that grouse shooting adds slightly under 3,000 jobs to the Scottish economy, with an average salary of £11,500 a year, creating a total of around 30 million in employment. But for an industry that requires more than 10% of Scotland's entire land mass to function, 30 million and 3,000 jobs below the minimum wage would appear by some suggestions to be disproportionate. When we compare this to 770 million from forestry and timber processing and 180 million from forest tourism, it seems that grouse shooting's economic contribution is slightly out of proportion. I therefore welcome the Scottish Government's decision to investigate these and other issues in the Werity Review. The Scottish Government is giving careful consideration to the review's recommendations regarding introducing licensing for grouse moor businesses, and if it decides to do so, has pledged to introduce this faster than the 5-year timescale recommended.